Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, welcome to working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage. Yeah!
Welcome to another edition of the Working Lunch. I'm Jeff Turgeon, your host for the next fun-filled and fact-filled hour. As you know, the Working Lunch is a project of the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board, which oversees the public workforce system here in Worcester and 37 surrounding communities in southern Worcester County. As folks out there can probably note, I've got a bit of a cold, but
Feeling a little under the weather today?
well, I'm not feeling too bad. I think my vocal quality might not
It translates well to radio, though. It's got a nice
It's got a little
rasp,
nasally, yeah.
little Wolfman Jack.
So I do want to welcome everybody. Co-host.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say hi to everybody, too. I'm Sean McGauley, Jeff's co-host. I'll be joining you this afternoon as well.
And also in studio is our production manager, also
Producer
colleague,
extraordinaire.
producer extraordinaire, also our colleague at the CMWIB, Bob Zakowski.
Good
And-
afternoon.
Now that's the voice I need.
Yeah, that's good. That's radio.
That's
ready.
radio, yeah. So I do want to introduce our guest. We have a guest right off the bat here, Frank Kartheiser. Frank's from Worcester Interfaith, and I want to welcome you to the show. Thanks for coming over to the studio today.
Good afternoon, Frank. Yeah, we'll be sharing a microphone here and getting real intimate.
Hey, Jeff, Sean, Bob, the whole gang. What's happening at the WIB? It's not safe. The whole team is down here, huh?
Well,
Autopilot.
we've got it covered. I don't want to say how. I don't want folks out there to know the
Well, that's
security
true.
measures that we've put in place.
It's only the men who are here, so I'm sure it's well.
All right, now you're going to get me in trouble, aren't you? Okay, well, thank you for being here, Frank. I appreciate it. Can you tell us a little bit and tell the audience out there about Worcester Interfaith and what you do there?
Sure. And again, thanks for having me here. I'm the lead organizer of Worcester Interfaith, a coalition of 20 or so churches, synagogues, neighborhood groups, the chaplain's office up at Holy Cross, our members, dues-paying members. And that dues base allows us to have the freedom to respond to the issues and challenges facing the families in our member institutions and in our community. So our goal, we get often confused with the Interfaith Hospitality Network, so which is does good work around housing and sheltering. But as a community organization, we're looking to bring our members and residents together to have the power, the clout, the muscle to work on the issues that are important to their families.
So really, it's an advocacy group for the faith community. Would that be a good?
No, I think that's a little narrow, and I think it's beyond advocacy. I think organizing kind of gets to how do we really not speak just for others, but how do we speak for ourselves? How do we get our own voice? And how do you learn how to do these things? How do you learn to get what you need for your family? You learn how to do it by doing it. And so that's a step, I would say, beyond advocacy. And we started off as mostly religious organizations, but realized that we needed to be broader. We want to look like the city. We want to be inclusive and touch as many families as we can. So that's led to broaden it to neighborhood groups, community organizations,
Sure.
the like.
Well, I know we do a lot with you and appreciate the efforts that you put forth on issues that relate to workforce development and the local families that are looking to get a leg up in the workplace. Now, one issue that we share common cause with quite frequently is the importance of youth employment. And do you want to talk a little bit about your work on around the issue of youth employment?
Sure. Let me just say first how we got into it. 7 or 8 years ago, we did a house meeting campaign, relational meeting campaign, where we went out, we talked to about 400 folks around youth. I can remember the time it was when Tim Murray was the mayor, actually. And so we went out and listened to what was important to our families for young people, and we focused on young people because if you talk to politicians, you talk to a lot of folks about what the issues are. They often say public safety or crime, but you go into a church basement or a synagogue hall or a neighborhood group, they're usually talking about youth, what's going on with young people. So we did a campaign just to hear about that, and we heard a whole lot of things around community school, after school programs, mentoring, a lot of things. But one of the things that came up that was really urgent was youth jobs. And so we picked up the mantle of that and tried to do some research and learn more about what was happening. And that's kind of how we got our start into that. And just a piece about that, as we looked around for youth jobs, we found a line item in the budget, in the state budget, called Youth Works, about $4 million for youth jobs for poor and low-income young people. And so when we looked at the budget, the $4 million, we started meeting with our legislators and tried to learn more about it. So for the $4 million, and this is probably typical, of the $4 million, we asked, well, how's it split up? Well, Boston gets $2 million, and the rest of the state gets $2 million. Well, whoa. What's that about? And they said, so we pushed a little harder. Well, why does Boston get $2 million? Well, because we're Boston. So we didn't think that was really, adequate kind of response. So we pushed the first year with Representative Jim Leary, with the whole delegation, and with the mayor at the time. And Worcester was getting about $167,000. And the next year, after we started working on it, we doubled it to $305,000 coming into Worcester. So it was a good first effort for us.
Yeah, and certainly on behalf of the board, which oversees the Youth Works program, it's been great to have you as an ally and really kind of, looking at this issue and putting it on the public's front burner. I know beyond the equitable distribution of those resources, one of the things that you've done a great job of organizing over the years is the youth rally on the State House. And again, this year, had a great crowd that gets, really kind of front and center. They get to see democracy in action. So it's really a win-win for the young people. It's great, a chance to see how representative government is responsive to, organizing and community issues. Do you want to speak a little bit about the State House rally?
Yeah. It goes to your earlier point around advocacy. And so I'm not out there to speak for youth or to speak for families. I expect that if this is important to people, they're going to shut off the TV and they're going to get it to participate. So how do you learn how to increase funding and get adequate amounts of dollars for youth jobs? How do you learn how to do it? Well, you learn how to do it by doing it. And so part of it was meeting with legislators and all that, but a component that you're pointing out was, could we mobilize statewide, 1,000 young people to get to the State House to press the issue? And I think this was our fourth rally this year. We took a busload from Worcester. We have a new state rep, Mary Keefe, who helped educate young people around the political process. Took the bus in and rallied. It's always a fun day. Rallied with a bunch of folks and then got out and met with all of our delegation. That's been incredibly supportive, and we can talk about that a little bit. But we also met with the chairs of the Senate and House Ways and Means. Well, why would you meet with those folks? What's that about? So you got to teach democracy and let them know that Ways and Means, that's where the budgets come from. The governor's got his budget, and this year he's got $11 million in his budget for youth jobs, which is up from last year. But if we can't get the House and Senate along, get their budgets to reflect that, we're not going anywhere. So the young people learning about what the Ways and Means, what the Speaker, the
and
Senate
the process
President,
in general.
Yeah, exactly.
For those that are just tuning in, we're talking with Frank Kartheiser from Worcester Interfaith and about their work that they're doing in the community around the issue of youth employment. Frank, I know on April 2nd, we're having an event at Worcester Technical High School the morning of April 2nd. Folks from Commonwealth Corporation, there's going to be an employer panel and some others discussing again, this topic of youth employment, and you've talked about how you came through your organization to kind of identify it. Are there any other issues or activities that you want to highlight today on the show?
No, not issues or activities, but the process, I think, is important to think about. This isn't just about money. Money's important. But what we're trying to do in Worcester, what we've been doing and what we want to continue to do, is make this more relational work. You know how this can work sometimes. The state has money, it's coming in, youth have jobs. And then the money dries up, and then youth don't have jobs. Well, that's just a bad system. Young people need jobs. As you know, we're at the highest youth unemployment that we've ever been at in this country right now, the highest youth unemployment. And so we're trying to put in place a relational network where we know each other, we know employers, we know who's can do youth development. So if the money gets tight, we still have a system in place where people are going to step up and try to make sure that our young people have these opportunities to learn the habits of paid work. So you have all the youth serving agencies, but you have the WIB here, you folks who understand what we're doing. You have Worcester Community Action Council that administers it, and they get an understanding about what's going on. You have Jesse Edwards in the Youth Opportunity Office for the city. So there's a broad conspiracy around this that if money gets tight, and actually it's gone beyond Worcester, because the WIB, as you know, the Youth WIB last year voted to put some of those dollars into Southbridge and Webster and really to broaden the network. So the process is I think more important than even the dollars at times.
Well, unfortunately, when the public dollars shrink, a lot of people say, "Hey, well, why should we put tight resources into this versus that?" And it's a conversation. It's a difficult conversation. It's part of the process. But one thing that we like to point out is that when the private sector is not hiring, it really affects low-income youth. They're the ones that have the least amount of family connections to go. I mean, you talk to a lot of people about where they started with their first jobs, and it's because someone, in their family was connected with someone else and could pick up the phone and give a call and, hey, can you take someone on for the summer? Do you have any work? And so those relationships, those informal kind of network, if you will, help middle, upper class kids, kids from wealthier families. And so it's the lower incomes that really suffer. So what tends to happen, as research shows, is that kids that don't learn how to the values of work and understanding the workplace and those skills that are so foundational to success in whatever job you go out there, they don't learn those in their formative years, their teen years. All of a sudden, they're behind the boat when they go looking for a job when they're older, and their employment actually lags into adulthood. So you talk about breaking the cycle of violence. Right. If you don't want to be paying for someone next year and beyond with public support, maybe you ought to embrace youth employment as a public investment, because it can help to break that. And for those again just tuning in, it's Frank Kartheiser with us from Worcester Interfaith. Frank, we're going to take a turn for a bit a lighter conversation here. We talked about first jobs and about people starting in jobs. And so Sean has a little game we're going to play with you here. And you can actually, I don't think that's going to
It probably won't reach. We'll share it again. So one of the games we like to play with our guests is guess the real job of the celebrity. So I've got a celebrity here I'm about to give you, and I'll give you 3 possible jobs that celebrity held prior to becoming a celebrity.
And there's a prize involved.
Jeff's got the surprise.
It's a coffee. I don't want to ruin it, but it's a coffee mug.
So it's important that you get the right answer here.
Well, you've got my interest now with that mug.
Well, you're going for the mug.
I'm good.
All right. So this celebrity is I think Jeff's got an impression of this guy, Sylvester Stallone.
Yay! See, the cold is throwing it right
yeah,
out.
This is the cold. We'll blame the cold. Yeah. So was Sylvester Stallone a doll factory worker?
What do you mean the doll don't have no arm?
Where he'd make Barbie dolls. He was on an assembly line. Was he a projectionist, a movie projectionist at a silent film theater?
What do you mean I can't talk during this movie? Hey! See, that's Sylvester Stallone being the projectionist. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my name sounds so. Hey.
Or was Sylvester Stallone a lion cage cleaner? So think it over, and
Well, that's not a lot of thinking. I'm tempted for the Barbie thing, but I'm not going. I'm going with the lion. I'm going with the Lion King.
You have earned yourself a mug, my friend.
Kidding me? I
Yep.
don't even like that mug.
so
Especially when it's used.
Yeah,
according
well,
to
you never said it was a new mug. That's true.
according
That's
to
true.
BusinessInsider.com, he was a lion cage cleaner that cleaned up for a traveling circus. So.
I need some more handy wipes over here, huh?
Hey, Frank, what was your first job?
Glad you asked that, Bob. My first job, my dad got me a job in my neighborhood working with an asphalt company. So we were doing parking lots and driveways and.
That's real work.
Yeah, it was real work. And I had to work extra real because it was my dad's friend that I was working
Right,
for.
you don't want to let down the.
And I have 7 siblings, so.
So if you
I
messed
had
up,
to-
there was someone.
Oh,
I imagine that would
man.
be a pretty hot summer that you spent there.
Asphalt, when you put asphalt down, it's 400 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was.
A good set of work boots, I imagine, was in your cards for that
yeah.
summer.
And you don't want to have steel-toed boots. No, that metal will cook your toes. Yeah. So it was a real job, and it was a great way to learn about the world of work. Going to your point too, Jeff, from before, people talk about college, the importance of college, about how much money you're going to make later on. Mm-hmm. The statistics are all coming out now. If you can get a job in high school, those folks who get those jobs are going to earn more money over their lifetime than a young person who doesn't have a job that early on. So the numbers are showing the importance of this stuff. And I was lucky. My dad, not only had those connections, but could get me a job. So many folks, so many young people don't have those connections.
Right.
And our large businesses and companies in Worcester that we thought would be a good resource, they use the summer jobs for youth as perks for their employees, which makes sense, but it leaves a group of young people out of the loop. And so again, we've got to really say a lot for UMass Memorial, hiring 200 plus young people into the healthcare field so they get a chance to not only work but learn about that. It's a great thing for
And they've really
Worcester.
developed quite a pathway for young people that they also have relationships with Worcester Technical High School and North High and Worcester and other schools to really help create that educational link too. So they bring back what they're learning both on the work site with the school and really integrating that. So.
And I know it's an institutional interest, but a big thanks to John O'Brien. What he did for that has been tremendous, and we're glad he was able to retire, but we're going to miss him. But I'm sure UMass is going to step up. So,
Well, Frank, we want to thank you for being here and for educating us about the work that you're doing. I want to thank you again for the work that you and others at Worcester Interfaith are doing on behalf of the community and for youth employment. So, thanks again.
great, and thanks for this beautiful mug.
You haven't seen.
Yeah, that you have. It's quite a mug. It's quite a mug. Sean, you want to take it away? I know that you.
Next up, we've got an interview. I sat down with Nancy Thibault from Rainbow Child Development. Talked to them a little bit about a great event they have coming up. They have their 40th year anniversary coming
That's
up.
wonderful. 40 years.
40 years, yeah, serving the community, and that's going to be on April 11th at the Worcester Art Museum. And I'll let Nancy tell you a little bit more about the event. Good afternoon. I'm here with Nancy Thibault from Rainbow Child Development. You may remember that name, Rainbow Child Development, from one of our last shows where we went and interviewed the students there and about their career paths and what to put on a resume, and we had a lot of fun doing that. So Nancy, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Rainbow Child Development, what you guys do, and
Well, Rainbow Child Development Center is a licensed nonprofit early education care center for children, and it's been in existence for the past 40 years. It's 1972, and what is really different is that it really works with from toddlers infants, I should say, infants, toddlers, preschoolers, school-age children up to age 13. We're working with children at risk. The students in the preschool program have quite an enriched curriculum and also on-site therapies. Those therapies range from speech, language, play therapy, and also what they've started to contract and work on is STEM. They have a science program, literacy, art. They have something called Imagimotions, which is physical education, nutrition, things like that. And that's all on site. I feel as if this particular program is unique in the fact that it's a 10-hour program, open, 365 days. It's not an academic schedule. And parents, guardians who bring their children to the program are either working full-time or that they're in full-time education program themselves.
And the older
and
ones?
Then, well, when you say older, 2.9 to 5
Oh, okay,
are
yep.
deemed preschool. And they're
The 0.9.
yeah,
right?
exactly, 2.9. So not even 3 years old. And they're at the preschool program
Okay.
at 10 Edward Street. And that particular.
And that's the one that
and
we
that's
had visited.
That's the one that you visited.
Yep.
Exactly. What you saw was a pretty
Oh, it's a fun environment.
dynamic,
Yes.
very
Good
fun,
group.
a lot going on.
Absolutely.
And then after school, then we have two excellent programs, one being at City View School
Okay.
and also Belmont Community School. And we're working with students there after school till 5:30.
Oh, okay.
Same thing as we're
Yep.
doing at Edward Street.
And the ages for
And
those
the-
kids are,
And the ages are up to 13, so
Okay.
5 to 13.
so it's that after-school
That
program.
after-school
yep.
program, which again is so important. Those are tricky hours.
Yeah.
Those are very tricky hours. The homework is being done. Not only homework though, but we also then have the enrichment programs.
Right.
Which is terrific.
Which is that curriculum you're
Science.
talking about? Yep.
Yep, science.
The STEM,
legend,
which is
art,
STEM.
science bug, which
Yep.
is, and then the art, and then imagine, and as far as a lot of physical education as well.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
that's really good. So the academics are there, along with they've had a long day.
Yeah,
Time
yeah.
to kind of running around.
And I
Well.
heard you mention 40 years, so this is a long
This is
program.
This is here to stay.
Yeah, here to
You know,
stay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're pretty excited about that fact.
And you're celebrating with a big event, right?
Huge event.
Coming up on, it looks like I've got a Thursday, April 11th.
Thursday, April 11th at the Worcester Art Museum.
Beautiful place.
It
Beautiful
is a
place
nice,
to have
very
a,
nice
yeah.
venue. And we're very, very fortunate to have the support of Worcester.
Mm-hmm.
And the Worcester Sharks have donated so much of their time, energy,
yeah.
philanthropic
Yep.
efforts, whether it be, going to games. They've been participating in the summer literacy program, reading to the children. Finn's the shark has come
Yes.
a number
Yep,
of
yep.
times.
And so I understand you guys are giving them an award?
They're getting a very nice, pretty prestigious award. It's we do deem every year as far as some agency that has really demonstrated a consistent commitment to Rainbow Child development.
Yeah.
They have extended themselves far and beyond, so we're thrilled to have
Great.
them there. But also, we want to recognize the Worcester Public Schools. We couldn't,
Right, like you said,
we
that
couldn't be
partnership
successful.
there, yeah.
Exactly, the community, we couldn't be successful without the Worcester Public Schools. Specifically this year, we are honoring and giving a plaque to Dr. Susan Prue at Belmont Community School, and then also Mr. Ganem over at City View.
Okay.
These particular principals have said, okay, they've opened their doors, and then we have the after-school program
Right,
there.
okay,
It's a
yep.
lot of students.
Yep.
It's a lot of commitment.
And your faculty goes there? Yep.
Absolutely. Our faculty's
But
there.
they give you the space. And
They
yeah.
do.
Oh, great.
And they give us the support
Right.
and the enthusiasm.
Which is important, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We wouldn't, again, it's a real partnership. Dr. Boone will be attending this particular event. It is from 5 to 7:30 on a Thursday evening. We will have the children sing a song,
Oh, it's
which
going to
will
be
be
great
kind of fun.
entertainment there.
It'll be really kind of fun.
So you got the entertainment, and then the food is actually
The food food, yes, we'll have hors d'oeuvres and things like that, but then afterwards, the highlight is Worcester Technical High School will be providing dessert, which will be cupcakes.
Great.
And again, we're really working with, from preschool Worcester all the way through school age to high school, and then launching them onto their career.
Right.
And so we're very, very pleased to have the students come down and show them their talents.
Yeah.
So that will be a real highlight.
Yeah, and all the proceeds from this event will go towards building that program and maintaining that program
Yes.
at Rainbow.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's also a thanking back. It's almost a rebranding
Yeah.
and saying that because you need to thank the community every once in a while.
Yep.
This is really a thank you and acknowledgement kind of event. We're pulled in many directions, and agencies and leaders of the community are pulled in many directions. And so this is an opportunity to say what we've accomplished, thanked our sponsors, thanked the city, and letting them know that what our next steps are. We are building programs just to even make the curriculum even enrich the program.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And so people that are interested in attending this event, they can find more information on your website,
Absolutely.
which is www.rainbowcdc.com.
Right, for community development
And
center.
they can also call you
They can
directly.
just call me
Call
directly.
the main
Yep.
office there.
Just call the main office, 508-791-6849, and just ask for me. I think that's another easy way, rather than, if you want, I am there and able to immediately address whatever questions they might have.
Great.
We would love to have more folks attend if they would like to. We've specifically said it's just, 5 to 7:30
Mhm.
at night, and I think it should be a really lovely evening.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you taking
Sean.
the time, and again, we appreciate the partnership.
Okay, we're back. We're just discussing off air here. Sean getting quite a lot of experience as an interviewer. I think you're going to be excited to see this next segment, though.
Yeah?
I was out there, out and about. I was over at the Worcester Youth Opportunities Office, and the city manager of Worcester had a youth summit.
Oh,
so
cool.
brought in, about over 80 representatives from different organizations that in one way or
Packed the house
another
over there.
serve youth, and brought them together to really look at, hey, where is there overlap and where there's gaps, and where's the need right now that maybe isn't being met. We've got all these resources from different organizations, public, private, nonprofit, all kind of out there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we coordinate it in a way to make sure that the gaps get covered, and then some of the overlaps maybe could dissipate
So
too.
big overall assessment of what's going on.
Exactly, and working with Jessica and the team at Cable Services, interviewed a couple people from that event using a new style of interview. I think
Maybe I can pick up, if I study the interview, I can maybe pull some.
I think people are going to be
pointers out of
studying
there.
this for years to come. It's Jessica told me this is like the hot new style. It's like I'm being on what was the show? The red carpet on E Entertainment or something. You'll
so
see. I've got
kind of
the
like
mic
a
in my
Ryan
hand. Yeah,
Seacrest
exactly.
kind of thing?
Yeah,
or-
something like that.
Yeah,
Something
well,
like that.
let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
Hi, we're here with Jesse Edwards, the city's Youth Opportunities Office Director at the Youth Services Summit. Jesse, can you tell us a little bit about the event today?
Sure. This was our first Youth Services Summit, and the whole purpose of this event was to get the community agencies together to talk about really what's working in the city as far as youth employment, education, youth homelessness, a number of different issues, to talk about sort of what's working for us, and then start to focus on what the gaps are in terms of youth in the city. So we called all the community, or many of the community groups together, youth serving agencies together in the city, and we had a really discussion on what those gaps in services were.
Seemed like there was a great turnout, judging by the size of the crowd. A standing room only crowd here today. By my count, over 80 attendees, which speaks to, I guess, the level of services in the city. Were there any major gaps that were identified? I know that was one of the targeting things that you wanted to discuss was finding those gaps.
Yeah, we've had a number of panelists come today. Derek Brindisi from Department of Public Health, Dr. Boone from she's the superintendent of Worcester Public Schools, Laurie Ross, and Councilor Sarai Rivera. And we touched on a number of issues from public health to education to youth employment. So within those, there were some common themes that came out. The need for community groups to work more together, to know kind of what's out there for youth services in the city. Many times we don't know what's going on, and that was sort of a common theme that people had said around the room. So yeah, I mean, there's some things that we can take and move forward from here, but really looking forward to really addressing those needs and trying to see what we can do to serve more youth in the city of Worcester.
Great. Well, thank you. It seems like a great event. I'm sure the discussion will be ongoing. Hi, we're here with City Councilor Sarai Rivera at the City Youth Services Summit, and a lot of energy seemed to be in the room. A lot of great discussion. Can you tell us what you think some of the key points from your perspective in the discussion were?
I think that one of the things to be able to see is the different resources that are available in the city, and I think that I'm looking forward to a lot of energy, and I think a lot of folks that normally maybe may not connect and may not feel how one really connects with the other, but we were able to see that ability to be able to connect and bridge services and be able to kind of fill in some of the gaps that many of our organizations are facing with services. So that's one I think that I'm really excited. One of the things that I want to see is being able to develop a strong youth agenda citywide and begin to develop some long-term goals and some short-term goals, and being able to really see some of these goals really come into fruition. And it's something we've done in the past, and I think that we have a really a good group of people here and some good energy, and I really am very excited to move this forward.
I saw too. It seemed like there was a great mix between established, larger organizations that serve youth and some of the more grassroots or newer organizations, and a great mix across the board of different organizations that serve different populations, different ages. Can you speak a little bit about some of that variety of folks that were involved today?
Yeah, I mean, we see different cultures. We see also from people who are working with homeless youth to people who are working with youth with mental illness, from younger youth to older adult youth. And so I think this is really important. When we're looking at people who are dealing with education, other people who are dealing with work readiness. But when you issues of health, I think that one of the most exciting is looking at the issue of how outdoors and how the outdoors can really be connected. And that could be connected in many ways, like even in mental health.
And the resources that are
yes,
already there
exactly.
that just need to be connected.
And so that's really exciting because you get to be able to see that. The library and how significant that is. And so things that you wouldn't even think about, we're going to have a youth summit and have the library president or the Audubon Society. Why is that important? But actually there is a level of connectivity. And for example, like I talked about clinically, it's been very therapeutic to take some of these youth outdoors. And that's also connected to health, for example. So that was really nice to see a nice eclectic group, and I think that that's going to really help us to shape a really strong agenda.
And it seems like, getting back to that collaboration, coordination, that a lot of these groups have resources that, like the Audubon and the Trail Network here in the city, is actually very extensive in getting more families involved, more young people involved,
Yes.
and actually, utilizing some of the existing resources. It's not going to cost new money, but it's going to be effective in helping.
Yes, exactly. And that's what I think, that's some of the things that I've learned to do. So before being in council, working many years in youth services, looking that you have this little bit and you have to do so much. And so you learn the value of partnership and how working together is so significant. And so you look at not duplicating services, but what services are there that exist, and looking at what can you do, what's your part that you do, and what's the part that the other person does, and how do you bring that together? Yes, exactly. And I think that all too often, there's a level of just survival out there because there's small funds, everybody's just struggling with a lot of work, with little time, so on and so forth. But I think coming together, we're able to see, wow, if I carry this log by myself, I could probably carry it, but it's going to be such a struggle. But if three of us carry it together, it will still struggle, we'll struggle together, we'll probably be able to do it a lot faster and a lot more productively. And that's what I'm hoping that we can see here. And we can see what it is that we need to move forward this agenda, and to know that we're not alone, and actually if we can pull together, we could actually move it forward and more productively.
Councilor Rivera, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
So that was excellent. I want to thank Jesse Edwards, the City of Worcester's Youth Opportunity Office Director, as well as Councilor Rivera for taking the time to speak with us. And so, there was a lot of big events going on lately. One of the other big events is, as of course, that we had talked about last month, was the big job fair that was had. I think it's the largest in the state.
Yep.
And that was put on by the folks at Workforce Central Career Center in partnership with the Worcester Sharks.
Yep. It's a private sector and public sector kind of teaming up, which
Yeah.
is it's great. It was a great event. I had the pleasure of attending.
Mm-hmm.
They had close to 80 businesses there, somewhere around the range of 70. They had close to 2,000 job seekers. It was a great event. I got to sit down with Jennithan, Cortes, the manager down in Milford of the Career Center, to talk a little bit. And I also got to interview one of the employers there, Tri-State Trucking. So hi, I'm here now with Jennithan Cortes, the operations manager at Workforce Central Milford. How you doing today, Jennithan?
I'm doing very well, Sean. Yourself?
I'm doing well. So we've got a lot of people here today. What's going on? What's this event going on here?
Well, Sean, as you know, this is a working collaborative between Workforce Central and Worcester Sharks. It's our third annual job fair here at the DCU Center. And we have about 74 employers and are expecting somewhere in the vicinity of 2,000 to 2,500 job seekers here today.
That's great. That's great. So this is a Career Center sponsored event?
Yes, it is. What the Career Centers are and Workforce Central is an opportunity where job seekers can come in and employers and work with staff who are developing, coaching, mentoring job seekers so that they're best prepared to find jobs and seek reemployment. But we also work with employers and bring open positions to that, and we try to match them up as best we can. It's a working function that bodes well for both parties. What we try to do is expedite the reemployment process for everyone, and by bringing the employer onto the table with the job seeker, we try to match those parties together and make it a win-win scenario.
So you've got a dual customer model where you're kind of working with both the people who have jobs, the employers, and the people who are looking for jobs, the job seekers.
Absolutely. And our staff is trained as such. We have people who are specifically trained and work with each facet of that operation. And we work together as a working collaborative so that we can, again, bring about the best possible solution, which is filling jobs in the industries, manufacturing, health, science, medical. We work with a STEM program, but also job seekers and helping them get reemployed.
And it's not just events like this. There's also a lot going on at the centers themselves.
Oh, absolutely. Every day at the career centers, we have career counselors who are working with job seekers. We do workshops, we do seminars, we do recruitment sessions with employers. This is a function that we do on a daily basis. And really what we're trying to do is bring about a free service to all of our constituents and providing them with these services on a daily basis. And it's proven to be successful.
So you don't have to pay to go to a career center. It's something it's a free service. It's covered.
Absolutely, including this. This is basically it's for free for everybody. They're coming in. We're working with them. We coach them in terms of coming to the job fair, how to best work a job fair, and that's part of our expertise and imparting that with the job seeker.
And if somebody's watching at home or listening at home and they'd like to connect with the Career Center, what's the best way to do so?
Well, you can do it one of two ways. You can go on the internet, and we're at workforcecentralma.org, or you can call one of the offices. And we're located. There's 33 offices across the state, but here on a regional basis, it's Worcester, Milford, and Southbridge. You can find us on the internet, whether it be mass.gov or the city website. But again, also you can give us a call.
Great. Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to us, Jennithan. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm here with Jill from Tri-State Trucking. How you doing today?
I'm great, thanks.
So Jill is one of our employer partners here at the job fair, and we asked to take a couple seconds with her to talk about her experience so far. So Jill, is this the first time Tri-State Trucking's participated in a job fair?
No, actually, we were here last year as well.
And did you have a good time? Were you able to make some connections and have any luck with some job seekers?
Sure, we come to this fair prepared to actually hire people.
Yeah.
And so we're always looking for diesel mechanics to fix trucks. And so we hired a few diesel mechanics last year and actually a few people to work our counters.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We love to hear success stories like that. So also, I've heard you guys have a different approach to these job fairs. If people give you a resume, you have a unique approach to following up with that, don't you?
Yes, I think people's time is valuable, and at Tri-State we understand that because of the business we're in. We fix trucks. They need to be fixed and on the roads. So when people are looking for jobs at our company, we think the right thing to do is to get back to them. So anyone that leaves us a resume or applies online, we get back to them within a 30-day period, one way or the other. And if their resume is great looking for us, but we don't have a position, we'll also keep that for 6 months.
That's great. It really is great. And so this year, what are you guys looking for? What kind of positions are you looking to fill?
Diesel mechanics as always.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, trucks break down on the road, and we're always looking for diesel mechanics. Everything has changed, the way that you actually fix a truck. But we've built our company really on customer service. So we also have openings, entry-level openings in the parts department, so it's a counter, and also in our service department. So the type of thing that you would be doing is either dealing with the mechanics in the back who are fixing trucks, you can be dealing with one-on-one customers or actually corporations who need their trucks fixed.
Great, great. Yeah, I can tell that customer service is important to you guys. We're getting back to the people with the resumes, and just even talking with you seem to really care about people. So do you have any advice for today's job seekers that are out here, or future job seekers if you come to another job fair?
Yeah, I mean, what we always do too for ourselves, we want to improve this. So I would think next year when we attend this, we want to do our homework to actually reach out to people to tell them what they need. So when they come here, their resume is ready. So ideally what we're looking for is someone to drop their resume off today. Not go online. It's the ideal situation for us is to come with a resume with your questions and then talk to us for a few minutes about what you're good at.
And give that face-to-face connection there.
That's exactly it. You don't have to be in the trucking industry. We know trucks. That's what we know. We know everything about them. Sales, service, and parts. If you don't have that background, we can teach you everything you need to know.
So there's some training involved there then. And I know you said you like that person-to-person connection there, but if there are people at home that have missed the job fair and aren't able to connect to that person, is there another way? Are they able to go online or call? Like, what would be the next steps to connecting with Tri-State?
Yep. We have a website that's out there right now, tristatetruckcenter.com. We're in the process of rebuilding that, so it will look different probably in the next month.
Yeah, all right.
But people can put their resumes there. You can fill out a job application if you don't have a resume. And again, we pride ourselves in getting back to people. So we will get back to anyone that applies.
That's great. Well, I thank you for taking a couple minutes. I'll let you get back in there because I know there's a big crowd at your table. So thanks again, and have a great afternoon.
Okay, well, Sean, great job with that interview. And such a great event. I mean, to have that many employers, job seekers, one of the things that they report is it's so hard to get face-to-face and actually talk to a representative of a company. A lot of applications now done online, and so it's really kind of taken the person-to-person element out of it, and it's so frustrating for them not to get some solid feedback. So to have someone like Tri-State that they can talk to and share their resume with. Now, I think it's time for... We do our mailbag thing. I think we need like
Is there an intro to that?
Mailbag.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll have to record that.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to put that. We'll put some special graphics to it and all that. Make it fancy. But yeah, so you did have a follow-up letter about following up from a.
Yeah. So we again, if folks at home have any questions for us, they can email us at theworkinglunch at wcuw.org. And we get emails from time to time, and I picked one out that I thought would kind of go with the theme of the show. It's from Bill in Worcester, and he writes, I just went to a job fair earlier this week, and it was great. I met some employers that I think I made a good connection with. My question is, now what? Do I call them? Email? Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
Right? Like what?
I'm laughing because I actually think I know the guy that wrote this. Pretty good friends with I think the bill in question here, so it's pretty funny.
So I went to John McCarthy, who's the business services rep at the Career Center, to ask him about what you would do for a follow-up after a job fair. And he said most recruiters will give you specific directions when you meet them. But if they don't, there's a couple steps that you can use to move forward.
So this is just a general guide. If someone gives you specific instructions, obviously that's what you should be on the listen for during your time with them at the job fair.
Yeah, and he also said it was important to note that going forward when you go to a job fair, you should always ask, how would you like me to follow up? That's a question you should start asking.
Great question.
But if you haven't, he said to wait at least a week or two to give them some time. He says, they've been out of the office for a full day. They're going to have a full email inbox.
They're gonna need to catch
They're gonna
up,
have a
catch their
pile of
breath.
work. Yeah, they're gonna have to take some time to kind of decompress from that. So wait a week or two. He said the best way to get back is an email, because again, the recruiter met a bunch of job seekers. So if they get inundated with a whole bunch of calls, they might not get back to you. So an email is something that's going to sit in their inbox, and then when they go down the list, they'll get to you and they'll get back to you. He said to think of the email as a thank you note after a job interview. Have you ever done one of those?
Yeah,
So
sure.
basically, you really want to be excited about the job, the position, the company, kind of reiterate anything.
You're fit for it. Kinda,
Exactly. And then
and your
also,
interest, yeah.
yeah, yep. And then you also want to note anything that might have made you stand out, so that it'll jog their memory.
Oh, okay.
So those are like, you know, we
That's what I'm kind of
talked
questioning.
about.
Hey, I was the guy in the yellow tie.
Well, if you had like a
hey,
conversation,
you might
like,
remember, hey, we had chatted about
we had chat.
that.
I used to work at this position, or we talked about the Celtics game the night before, the weather, anything that you remember
Made a
that
connection
might
with, yeah.
might be able
We
to.
probably
jog
don't
your
want to
memory.
force it too much.
Right.
If
If it's not there, then it's not there.
I was the guy that talked to you about the job.
So I hope that'll
You
help.
and like 1,000 other people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I came by your table and talked to you that day.
I'm the guy with the thing, right?
Yeah, I was the guy wearing a shirt.
Well, anyways, so Bill, I hope that answers your question. If it's your friend, maybe you can tell him that in person too, unless he's not watching. But, thanks again,
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah,
And
do it.
again, if folks at home have a question, please feel free to email us. It's theworkinglunch@wcuw.org.
And you know we've got so much going on these days. We've got these events that we're trying to get out and covering as part of and bring to the show. We're also, you know, as word gets out about the popularity of the show and about what we've got going on. We've had some requests to come in and talk about, you know, things that are out there for the community that are related. One issue that's out there is tax. It's tax season.
Timely, right?
Timely, yeah. It's tax season coming up, and there is a program out there to help people prepare their taxes if they need some help for free. So I wanted to just play a quick interview with that I was able to do with Miss Rita Crimmin. She works over at the United Way. So why don't we go ahead and play that?
We're talking with Miss Rita Crimmin, the volunteer coordinator for the Worcester Earned Income Tax Credit Coalition. And can you tell us a little bit about the volunteer tax assistance program that you have?
Great. We have been in existence since 2003, so this is our 10th anniversary of helping low and moderate income families get free tax preparation in the city of Worcester, and also to help them get eligibility for some of the different tax credits that are available, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit.
Great. Now, who's eligible for assistance with this program?
There are people that make approximately $50,000 a year or less are eligible for free tax preparation at our 4 VITA sites in the city of Worcester.
Okay, and which those sites are, and I have a list here. Those sites would be the Worcester Community Action Council.
Correct. Maine South Community Development Corporation on Main Street near Clark University. Plumley Village over on Laurel Street in Worcester, off Summer Street. And then Worcester State University in the Sullivan Academic Building in Worcester.
Great. I know that you have support from different partners to help you with this tax preparation.
That is correct. As I said, we've been in existence for 10 years, and we partner with a number of businesses and nonprofit organizations and colleges. So the 3 colleges that we work with are Assumption College, and those students are at Plumley Village. We work with Worcester State University, and obviously those students are at Worcester State. And then we also work with Quinsigamond College, and they do tax preparation at Maine South CDC. Then we have a wonderful relationship with Unum. They have been with us now for a good 6 years, I'm going to say, and they do tax preparation for us at Worcester Community Action Council. And Allcom Credit have been wonderful friends of ours. They're a small credit union on Park Avenue, and they do tax preparation, and they also do credit counseling at Plumley Village.
Super. So how do folks get involved then? Should they call those locations or
That would
or
really
look?
be the best thing to do, Jeff. In the next couple of weeks, we are going to be abbreviating our hours because obviously everybody's gotten their taxes done already and they have their refunds, hopefully. So it would be best to call either Maine South CDC, Plumley Village, Worcester Community Action Council, or Worcester State University. And you can access all that information by getting on the United Way of Central Massachusetts website, which is www.unitedwaycm.org, and scroll to EITC, which stands for Earned Income Tax Credit, and you'll find all the phone numbers there.
Well, certainly it sounds like a wonderful program and providing a great service to the community. And I appreciate your time to come on and tell us about it today. Thank you again, Ms. Crimmin.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, it's neat that those resources are out there in the community that people can take advantage of. Wanted to kind of switch gears a bit here. We got a few minutes before we have to wrap up. It's amazing to me how fast an hour goes by.
Just quick
on air here, just zooms by. Did want to congratulate one of our colleagues, Amy Mosher, over at Workforce Central.
What Amy
was
do? What's
well,
going on with
she was named as the Telegram and Gazette Vision's Young Leader Award winner.
Oh, wow.
And so recognized for her efforts. She's quite a change agent. She's spearheading our efforts around at the Career Center around new business development and helping people start
Some
their
new
own
workshops
business.
and stuff too, right?
New workshops, yes, around again around helping people who have an idea and how to take that to fruition to start their own business, how to access resources and support for that. So we want to congratulate her for
Nice
her
job,
efforts,
Amy.
as well as all the folks over at the Career Center again with their amazing job fair that they had. A lot of good work being done over there. Also want to mention yesterday we had our youth jobs fair in partnership with Worcester State University, and the folks at Worcester State University did a great job of hosting that event and really engaging students, both high school aged and mostly high school junior seniors, and then also college students. It was great to see. We had a few hundred students come by and talk with. We had over 40 organizations that were involved with that as well. So that was a great opportunity to talk about summer jobs.
There were a couple of workshops too.
There were a couple of workshops there. One on using social media in your job search and getting word out about if you have a business too.
And then one on people skills and
networking.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was a great opportunity. Like I said, youth employment is obviously a big thing. Summer jobs are obviously a big thing. We talk about, Frank, kind of bringing it back to the beginning of the show, around the public support for those programs is very limited. Even in good years, even in times of good public support for that, we're still serving just really a drop in the bucket of the number of young people that want to be out there working in the summer. And so this was an opportunity to really connect them with a lot of summer jobs. A lot of organizations there, the YMCA, the Boys Club, the YWCA, that had summer jobs. Their summer camps are hiring now. So getting them in touch with suitable candidates is a real win-win for that. So I want to thank them.
I think Bob's giving us the axe.
He's giving us the axe, so it's about time for us to sign off. I do want to thank Bob and the folks at Cable Services again for their help.
Jesse.
In putting this all together. Jesse and his work.
Frank coming in.
We've got a whole list there today.
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.